All right, guys. So Fulu coming to you with another commentary. Now I don't want to get I don't want to get too much into this issue that we're dealing with the whole Ukraine Russia fiasco, but I just want to maybe bring some scenarios to the table about what's going on and why it's happening, besides the economical reasons, obviously, but also maybe some other things that are are in play right now. So I just want to get into it real quick. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get into it. um first I want to just go ahead and read into an article that I found. And I'm not saying that the BBC is a reliable source, but I'm just going off of things that the BBC say and see about see um, you know if there's some other underlining things, because of the simple fact that the European Union, has never had Africa's interests, and I'm not saying that Russia has Africa's interests at hand, but it's worth it. It's worth exploring to see some of the underlying reasons why things are happening the way they are. Let's start with the article. I'm reading it from my laptop. So it says Russia has been expanding its influence in Africa in recent years. After the invasion of Ukraine, it will be expecting its newfound allies to provide support or at least remain neutral in international bodies such as the UN. And the only one that has really said anything against uh, the Russian aggression on Ukraine has been those who align themselves with Western governments most of the time. But at the same time, there are some who have aligned themselves with Western governments who are kind of maybe leaning more towards the socialist bloc. So you have here, it says, from Libya to Mali, Sudan, and the Central African Republic, and Mozambique and elsewhere, Russia has been getting more involved, often militarily, with help fighting rebels or jihadist militants. Or fighting rebels or jihadist militants. And it must be said that the United States, the CIA, and Saudi Arabia fund and finance those jihadi militants in order to increase the unrest in Africa and in order to set up military bases there. That's why they do it. So Russia is actually counteracting that. So it may it this thing this I guess you can say this anti-Russian campaign that the United States and the European Union has could be because of the simple fact that one of the underlying factors is because it sees is becoming an influence in different places. It says South Africa, which is a partner of Russia in the BRICS group, has called on the country to withdraw its forces from Ukraine. And so you see South Africa, it's pro-Western for the most part. Um, and now in Central African Republic, the president, Tudera, has been reported in backing Russia's decision to recognize the Ukrainian regions of Donetsk, and Luhansk as independent states. And as I said before, that's one of the underlying reasons why that this is going on as well, is because there's a, a, a cadre of people in Russia who actually desire to be or cadre of people in Ukraine who actually desire to be free of I want to say free of Ukraine. The Sudanese, which I don't agree with, but the guy Hamdan Dagalo, he actually signed closer ties between the two countries. That must be said. Um, the now Mali, for example, has actually Mali, for example, has actually uh, I want to say backed uh, Russia and actually prefers friendship with Russia versus friendship with France, because when you look at it, the French really did not help with the jihadist situation in Mali. I mean, most of the help really came from the ground up, from like Malians. The French actually helped in kind of dividing Mali. It actually helped and assisted the jihadists in making a I want to say a what's that word called, a jihadist state by the name of Kidal. And so the Russian offered to help um, Mali, and it also offered to help Burkina Faso as well. So this is has gained momentum. You know, Now another thing too, uh, that Russia has wanted to like boost trade and investment. You know what I mean? Also, you have to understand, back in the day when the USSR was around, that many Africans studied in the former Soviet bloc because of the liberation movements, and also the simple fact that Russia was like the USSR was one of the only places where they could get the training needed. You know, um, Now we also have to keep in mind with Crimea, that that decided it wanted to be part of Russia again. Um, and so, you know, it must also be said that, like, Europeans, the EU really uh didn't really like didn't really like get any kind of success in containing the jihadists, because they didn't want to contain jihadists. Um, you also need to understand that there's different African states that are importing Russian arms. You have Algeria, Egypt. I mean, although they're on the African continent, it's hard to really call them African. But you have Nigeria, Tanzania, and Cameroon, who have also began to import, uh, you know, arms. Also, none of the African countries call for sanctions uh, for Russia. It must be said that it's it's for the most part, most of these African countries are neutral with what's going on. They remain very neutral with what's happening. Now, want to see something. I want to see how Chechens feel about the Ukraine-Russia conflict. For those of you guys who don't know, the Chechens are Khabib Nurmagomedov's people from Dagestan, part of Russia, but kind of like distinct from Russia. Uh, um, Let me see. So it looks like indeed Chechnya is on the side of Russia, although these countries have had, kind of like a little bit of uh, a little bit of a shaky history. Um, Now, it looks like from what I'm looking at that you know the Chechens said they haven't really suffered any losses, so to say. Um, Let me see. But now it's coming out in different places that they actually did suffer losses. So I don't know. Let me see. Let me see something. Okay. I'm not into politics, by the way, guys. It's just I just like to know the underlying factor of like why these things are happening, you know. So you do have Western media and their propaganda. Right now, I'm reading Ukrainian forces destroy a convoy of 56 Chechenian tanks, kill kill troops. I also have bloodthirsty Chechnyan fighters were lined up to storm Ukraine. Um, Let me see. Ukraine wipes out bloodthirsty Chechnyan special forces. Um, so Chechnyan leader calls for expanding. Let me see. Chechnyan leader calls for expanding Russia invasion in all directions. So, um, you know, you see in this region that even they're kind of like calling for this, uh, it, but the media unfortunately is painting them out as these butchers. It's unfortunate that I can't get a hold I can't get a hold here of of media media sources from RTTV or Sputnik News. They won't let me. It's blocked here, unfortunately, because then with that news you may be able to get a bigger point of view. But they're not letting me access it. They're not. It's hard for me to access this. You know. So it looks like the EU closed skies to Russian aircraft as well. Also, we're gonna get into something I want to get into. I'm gonna show you guys videos of this as well. Let me show you videos. Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy that the Western media doesn't show this. What I'm about to get into. Hold on, let me see. This is why I don't watch NBC. This is why I don't watch CNN. This is why I don't watch Fox News. This is why I really don't depend on Daily Mail or anything like this. Um, yeah. And I want to say something about this whole Russian conflict. A lot of it has to do with NATO too. You know, NATO is bloodthirsty. You know, NATO is very bloodthirsty. Okay, let me see. And of course, the propaganda machine will say that Russia is starting a third world war. Mr. Schizo, Mr. Dementia Biden is saying all this BS. You know, let me see. Let me see something. All right, so the thing is there is something that is being overlooked. And these are old articles. But now I have found that uh that that what the United States is not showing us, because the United States always does this. They don't show the underlining factors of things like that. They don't show like the the meat and potatoes of the situation. They always give you appetizers. Is that um there was a poll done, and it said that 75% of Russians says the Soviet era was the greatest time in the country's history. It must be said that during that Soviet era, the game Tetris was developed, right? Um, but there is a nostalgia for the USSR. You know, 18% of Russians actually disagree with the idea that the Soviet Union was the best time. Um, Maybe because the United States doesn't want you to know that people have these sentiments about it. Um, you know, I can't like I don't want to jump the gun. I don't want to like get it too ahead of myself, but um, maybe these sentiments are becoming more prevalent in different provinces, such as Tajikistan, such as Uzbekistan, in these places. Um, Let me see. Let's see. Because you have to understand something. The Soviet Union did not really um, get a chance to reach its full potential. You have to understand something, that it was like NATO. It was unfortunately Russia being a victim of the arms race, right? Um, and so a lot of people miss the the Soviet Union, the old Soviet Union, because when the Soviet Union collapsed, it led to a decline in social status and living standards. The economic crisis, like increased social deprivation and mortality and suicide rates. Um, the thing is that under the social safety net, there was universal health care, free education, reliable pension system, family oriented policies. Um, it in today's thing does not solve many of the problems that it has. Um, let me see something. I want to see something. So this could be like they won't tell you, but this could be a underlining fear with the United States as well. You know, this kind of thing, the restoration of the Soviet Union. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to see this. Um, Let me see who all were a part of the Soviet Union. Let me see. I just want to see all the states that were a part of it. So, let me see something. Okay, let's see. At one time, it was the world's largest country. You know, um, I mean, I'm trying to see all the countries that made up the Soviet Union. Hold on, let me see, because there was a lot of countries. Okay, let me see. So, okay, let's see. So you had Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Russia, Uzbekistan, Moldova, Ukraine, um, Belarus, Turkmenistan, Armenia, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. So all of these made up the Soviet Union, but I believe you also have Bulgaria as well. You had also Romania too, if I'm not mistaken. So with these countries together, I don't think they want to see this again. I don't think they want to see these this happen again. You know, I think they're very afraid of another Soviet Union happening. You know, unfortunately, the Soviet Union didn't get a chance to reach its full potential because, you know, the United States of America didn't want it to reach its full potential, you know. But let's go ahead and look at another underlining factor. Okay. You have to understand, and I'm going to go into some videos after I go into reading this article. You have to understand that um, like trying to think. the the West will only show you things that they want you to see. They're not going to show you the bigger picture, because I've tried my best to look at different outlets of news, which I really don't trust. I don't trust, as I said, I don't trust BBC. I don't trust CNN. I don't trust Fox News. I don't trust NBC. I don't trust MSN, ABC, NBC. Al Jazeera is a little shaky. The only news like that I really try to tap into is Telesur, um, and different like independent outlets. So what's happening though, unfortunately, is black people in Ukraine who are who were there as students, are suffering the brunt of this conflict. You see black people being blocked from boarding trains. Um, you see black people from even being blocked uh, from leaving Ukraine. Now, what I want to say to what I want to say to uh, Africans in Ukraine uh, is that you guys go to the Romanian border. If you're an African in Ukraine, you can get out of there through the Romanian border. Don't try to go to the Polish border. Go to the Romanian border. If you hear this commentary, you guys can get out that way, because it looks like even Ukraine are pushing Africans off of the buses and stuff like that. Um, it looks like most of the students are Nigerians, but I do have a Gambian homegirl who's over there right now. You know, may Allah ease her thing. But um, but but again, um, again, it just goes to show you that those elements in that 2014 coup in Ukraine are showing their true colors, uh, and the Nazism is coming out. You know. But let's go ahead and look at some videos. So these are African students being rejected at Poland's border. Okay, they're saying we don't have guns and we are students. They're not giving black people shelter or any room to cross. There's a 2-month-old baby and 3-degree weathers at night at Polish border. Again, to my fellow African brethren and sisters, go to the Romanian border. They're letting people cross there.
Man, these people left without taking the blacks. None of the blacks. No. Even the black guys that already have kids, they took their kids and their wife and left the niggas.
Okay, so it looks like the train are not picking up the Africans there. So again, unfortunately, for Africans, they suffer the brunt of the Ukrainian conflict. Again, Romania would be the best bet for them to get over, to flee this problem. Just get over to Romania and it should be okay. You know what I mean? I think this is the best thing for them to do. May Allah ease their plight because they definitely need it at this point, you know. Now, there's one more thing I want to touch on that the West does to fulfill its agenda. Let me find it. Yeah, let me find it. So, because of the feminism and shit like this, you will see these stories. But look at the reaction and look at how the Russian soldier is trying to de-escalate the situation. And I can't even lie. Last night on Clubhouse, oh my God, may Allah forgive me, but I'm not gonna name this person, but this one Ivorian feminist, unfortunately, was talking about my content about NATO and stuff like that, and about my concern about this whole situation and about the war games that NATO plays. And she called me narcissist. She called me all types of stuff. She even called me a dog. You know what I mean? And so, like, again, this feminism bullshit is something that men are tired of. And I'm one of the men who are tired of this feminism bullshit. And I'm telling you, African sisters out there, you guys better take heed because you're complaining about men so much. You're complaining about men don't do this, men don't do that, men ain't shit. You're doing all this complaining, but guess what? You know, you're only digging yourself a hole. I'm letting you know right now, and I'm letting her know. You're digging yourself a hole. Cause I would never marry someone like that. Even if they're African, continental, fellow African, I would never marry someone as combative as that woman. You just showed your true colors. And I'm not there to like try to tame a combative woman. I don't got time for that shit. But let's look at this. Let's look at what the Western media is pushing. Let's see.
The housing market can be tricky. Offer deadline on Sherman Street. But don't worry. Redfin updates listings every 5 minutes, and you can...
Okay, let's get some subtitles instead. So, why on earth did you come to my country with a weapon? That's what she's asking. Take some seeds and put them in your pocket. At least something nice will grow for them when you die here. This talk is listen to the logic of a man versus the emotion of a female. Listen to the logic. This talk is getting us nowhere. Let's not aggravate the situation, please. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm not trying to sound like a savage, but if this guy wanted to, he would have been well within his rights to do far worse to this woman. He could easily say, well, you know, I fear for my life. He can very well say that if he really was on that type of time. But these women don't get it because the United States and the whole Western world push this feminism bullshit, and they think that this is something that is gonna go. He said our conversation won't solve anything. This is what he said, man. This is what he said.
Ребята, положите в карманы семечки. Я поняла, положите семечки или семена цветов.
I see. Put some flower seeds in your pockets. You'll go into the ground with them. You see how emotional these women are, man? In this feminism bullshit. Like, may Allah forgive me, but it really makes my blood boil when I see shit like this. It really does.
Семенами ляж. скажете? Вы пришли
Well, it doesn't make my blood boil. It makes my blood boil seeing that the West is pushing this shit.
мою землю. Вы понимаете? Вы оккупанты. Вы враги. И вы уже с этой секунды прокляты.
And from this moment, you are already cursed.
Я вам отвечаю.
Теперь послушайте меня.
Now listen to me. I heard you.
Я вас услышала.
Не будем усугублять ситуацию.
Let's not make the situation worse. See, he's being cool, calm, and collected. This Russian soldier.
А куда же усугублять? Вы пришли
How can...
брошенные твари.
So she said, how can it be worse?
Будем усугублять ситуацию, пройдите.
А куда же усугублять?
How can it be worse when you bastards came here uninvited? I'm gonna go into a video about that after this video to show that they actually were invited. Let me get into this one. Let me finish this one.
Вы пришли непрошенные твари.
Okay. So she said, how can you it be worse when you bastards showed up here uninvited? Let's take a look at something though. Okay. Let's see. Damn. They're censoring this shit. Damn it. Damn it. Okay. So you see, Russian-backed separatists claim that they've been attacked by Ukrainian paratroopers. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, so this conflict has been boiling up because I'm looking here and it says Ukraine pro-Russian separatists fighting to defend culture. Unfortunately, I can't find anything that shows any videos that show that that the Ukrainian separatists actually asked Russian help. They actually asked Russia for help. Now, in regards to that woman, who was talking shit to the Russian troop, let's get into this. Let's tap into this aspect and see if the what the media does is it shows Ukrainian women with guns and they're not fighting. What the Western media does. Yeah, Ukraine parliamentarian who loves guns, ready to war for Russia. Ukrainian women volunteer to fight Russian troops. But guess Ukrainian mother vows to take up gun if Russia invades. Okay, but let's look at the reality of the situation though. Not what the West is painting it, but the reality. The US is treating Ukrainian citizens as human shields as well. That's a full fact. Okay, let's see. Women and children leave Ukraine as men stay behind to defend it. So as you see,
I'm from the western part of Ukraine.
so as you see, the men are doing the work. I hate to use CBS, but I'm just letting you know that the men are doing the dog work. Not these feminists that they show on these outlets. Not the Ukrainian woman who was talking all that shit.
So now it's more likely a better situation than in the center or in the east, but we don't believe Putin, and we have our daughter.
But that's all I'm going to give y'all for now. I'm going to probably come back and return to this issue. And I'm just going to take a look at it and see what's going on. You know, if you haven't subscribed to this page, subscribe to this page. If you want like my perspective on this situation, which may not be a popular perspective, but it's a perspective that I'm just trying to make sense of everything that's happening and everything that the Western media and the West doesn't want to tell you. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking on these Western outlets and you don't see nothing about what's going on with Africans in Ukraine. You know, I had to find these from independent sources, man. But anyhow, man, let me know what y'all think about this. Fula signing out. Unjaram.